Hello.
How are you guys doing today?
Doing
Good.
well.
Dog
Doing well.
sitting,
Staying.
working from home today. It's different. It's weird. It's
It
different.
is. It is. It's funny how we used to do that every single day, and then now whenever you do end up doing it, it's a totally weird feeling.
I don't. I know we might be live, but I'm not in the. Oh yeah, we are. Okay, just kidding. It just kicked me out. Sorry. Just stressing here.
We're good.
You're good.
Yeah. Felicity's a little bit stressed, so we're gonna try to teach her about sales today so that she can alleviate some of her stress, and maybe it'll do the same thing for you guys. But first off, we want to start by saying if you have gotten any value from this YouTube channel, or if you get value from today's live, we would love to be able to earn your subscribe, right? Your subscription. So we're pouring more and more and more resources. I say this every single week, but we're pouring a ton into this channel, trying to grow it, trying to provide as much value as possible. And we believe it's one of the best sources of education and business growth for personal trainers and online fitness coaches in the space, right, on YouTube. So we would love to be able to earn your subscribe today. And
Also, big shout out to Austin Medlin for coming in
yeah,
yesterday talking on sales. So go check out his channel too. He'll be basically posting the recording on there of that here pretty soon. And
hmm
then, yeah, dude, I'm ready to dive into this. I know
cool.
Becky teaches a lot on sales, and I do a lot of selling, and
Yeah,
so I'm excited to see how it goes.
sweet. All right. So I think one of the big topics that Austin brought up that we can kind of start with is he has this concept of sales is a service, not a pushy process. All right. So let's kind of just start there. Let's talk about reframing our mindset around sales in general, because I do think a lot of people have this idea that all sales is the stereotypical sleazy car salesman type of vibe.
Yeah, I think what he basically got at was if I do not sell you, I can't help you. And if I don't help you and I know that you're an ideal client and I know that I can help you, I'm doing you a disservice by not being good at convincing you to take the action that you need.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think it's a beautiful reframe, because I think a lot of people feel uncomfortable at the sales process because they feel like they're being that sleazy car salesman
Yep.
instead of
Yep.
showing up with real conviction and knowing that, again, if you are someone that would be a great fit for me, and I know, right, I'm confident in my product and I know it's going to be a great fit for you, I morally am obligated to sell you this thing and to do a great job of selling you this thing because I know it's going to change stuff for you. If I don't, I'm doing you a disservice and I'm doing myself a disservice. So I love that reframe just to start out. Um, two other kind of like overall sales mindset things that he talked about. One of them was higher pricing signals higher commitment, and the fact that sales is essential for both personal and business success. He talked about everything is sales, and he gave a bunch of kind of funnier examples of that. I think that was a really good how he talked about it in the dating world. He talked about it in trying to get your toddler to eat food. He talked about it in trying to get your dog to learn tricks. Like, you're selling everything nonstop, both in your personal life and in your professional life. And if you can't learn the skill of sales, you are capped. You will always be undervalued in the market. And then he
Same with
got into pricing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody on the call yesterday, one of our clients was like, I have a 95% close rate. And oftentimes we use close rates as a flex. And he said that instantly, he's like, you need to raise your prices. Because if you're not closing at least 60% or closer to it, then you're too cheap. And basically, what that means is if no one says no, then you're not asking enough money. And it's not that you're typically just an amazing salesperson, it's you're usually just not charging enough money for somebody to say no. Here's the problem. Whenever you are everybody saying yes, 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 the first thing you're going to lose is time. And then when time is gone, then what do you have left? Now you're selling what 5 hours left you have for the week at the same price as when you had 40 hours to spend that week on fulfilling. So I always like to say, okay, so I work X amount of hours and all my bills are paid and everything's good. If it doesn't significantly change my income, it's not worth losing the time.
hmm
So how much are you willing to pay to reduce an hour with your kid?
Yeah.
How much are you willing to pay to push back date night? Like, how much are you willing to pay for those type of things? Because that's what we're going to start to get into as the business starts to thrive. Is you're going to have to start making sacrifices, adjustments, and changes. And so,
Yep.
with that being said, what is the price that you're willing to pay per hour to lose some of your personal time? And that's
Yeah.
how you start operating and starting to fill up your bucket with those type of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's extremely crucial to kind of understand is when you can equate it back to those types of just instant reframes of what this is actually worth in terms of not just monetary value right now on this call, then I think it lands differently for the person. And he's got a supercar from that he's really passionate about, and he talked about, okay, so the price of this package is 15K. If I told you that you could go and you could buy my Ferrari for 15K, then how would you you're saying you can't afford this one, but would you figure out a way to buy my Ferrari if I offered it to you for 15K? And they're like, well, yeah, it's a Ferrari. It's like, okay, so why don't you look at this in the same way that you look at my Ferrari? And he said, gun to your head, could you figure out a way to pay a $15,000 hospital bill for your kid? I'm like, well, yeah, it's my kid, and I would have to. It's like, yeah, exactly. So why don't you're telling me about all this pain, you're telling me about all these things that you're negatively going through. Why don't you view this as a have to decision? Because I know I can help you. I know I can fix all your problems. Why don't you feel like you have to do this to get the results that you want? And I thought that was such a beautiful kind of reframe there. We've all heard you got to get resourceful, not have the resources. But the way that he talked about it, and he was like, I'm super direct on those calls. I'll literally ask them, gun to your head, like, would you be able to afford a 15K hospital bill right now for your kid? And if they say yes, then it's like, I know they can get access to the money. It's just they don't see the value in it yet. So I got to make that value equivalent to a hospital bill for their kid, which is kind of a crazy thing to think about, but that's the reality of it. If you think this is important enough, you will make it happen. The money, the dollar amount has no effect on the outcome of yes or no.
And depending on what you're selling too, right? As I talk to fitness coaches, it's like a person is not willing to invest, let's say $1,000, but it's like, okay, so how much are you willing to pay for the hospital bill if you don't make any changes in the next 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just framing it of that nature of like, well, you're going to spend it one way or another. It's just going to be now or later.
Yep.
But how important is it to you? So I thought that was really good. And here's the thing too, like, one thing I got from Austin yesterday was just being blunt.
Yeah.
He said, I don't care if you like me. My goal is not for you to like me. My goal is for you to have
Trust me.
results so that you then love me.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be your best friend, but to be the person that you're like, he changed my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a really good one too, because he's like, you always hear know, like, and trust. He's like, they know you. They booked a call with you. Okay. He said, you don't have to like me though. Most of the people that buy from me do not like me. I know that sounds completely counterintuitive, but all they do is they trust that I can provide the results that they want. So they buy from me. And then later on, I ask them again if I like them or if they like me, and they say, no, I love you because you changed my life. And he's like, that's what I want. I don't care about the liking up front. I care that they trust I can provide a good and valuable service, and I care that they love me after they buy. So I thought that was really good as well. Felicity, I don't know if you have your notes up as well, but his framework for how to structure sales calls.
Sorry, I was muted. I do the RFPDP method.
Yes.
That's what the method you're talking about.
Yep.
So it's first is rapport building. So first and foremost, do you want to dive into each subsection?
Yeah, talk us through it.
All right. So the first one is going to be building rapport. So this is going to be essentially the structure of the sales call. So the first R stands for rapport building. This should not, a lot of the time, and he brought this up, and I was like, oh, this is actually really high quality or like just gold. Because a lot of the time we spend too much time building rapport in the sales call. And
Mhm.
like, this should literally take you like 18 seconds to maybe 2 minutes of building rapport. Like, hey, how are you? Where are you located? Cool. Dive on in. He goes, you should not be spending all the time because, first off, one thing that he really highlighted in his discussion yesterday was how time is genuinely the most valuable asset. So, why are we wasting it trying to connect with the individual? Like, oh, I live there too. They don't care about you, they care about how you can help me.
Mhm.
So with that being said, the R is building rapport. This is anywhere between 18 seconds to 2 minutes. The F, did you have anything to add there?
No, just the quickness of it. It caught everybody off guard.
Yeah. I was like, wait, but you're right. You're 100% right.
Mhm.
F, if I'm not mistaken, I actually don't have this for whatever reason on my notes. F is going to
Frame.
be frame. Yes. So just framing the discussion. Let's continue on. This is going to be something super simple. P is, again, I don't have everything written out. My apologies. Do you
You're good.
remember
I
what R
can,
was?
yeah, I'll grab it. Rapport. So it's rapport, frame, pain, discovery, pitch.
That's what it is.
So, rapport, like you hit on, he said for rapport, a lot of people spend like 15 minutes of a call building rapport. He said, I don't know about you guys, but I've got 11 hours of calls today. I don't have time, and my prospects don't have time to waste 15 minutes just BSing on a call. He was like, so I kind of build rapport for a couple of minutes because the reality is our relationship's not the most important thing. I just need you to trust again that I can provide that result. So rapport, then frame. You're going to frame why we're kind of here and what we're actually looking to do. Discover as far as like their pain, diving into their pain with discovery after they give it to us. And then you're going to pitch. And then from there, he said objections. I mean, one of the coolest things I think that he said was he talked a lot about tie downs. We've heard of double tie downs before. He actually said triple tie downs, so just getting 3 yeses on something to isolate an objection. But he had the actual, one of his sentences that he said was objections are not real. So I think, Mike, maybe you can kind of expand on that and the idea of just objections not being real. I think that's kind of a mind-blowing thing because we always talk about objections. You're going to get them, but he said they are not real. They don't actually exist.
Yeah, and they're just being excuses, or we put something up as a barrier to protect what actually is the issue. Because
Mhm.
is it price, or is it that you don't believe in it? Is it the spouse, or is it actually that you don't believe in it, or is it the spouse, but then it's actually the price? And so we try to like make excuses based on insecurities or reasons why we don't want to essentially move forward, or we've been thinking on the call why we're not going to do it, and then now it becomes this well thought out program that we're now displaying as the recipient or the lead. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and how we essentially worded it. And it's the triple tie down basically is okay, cool. So you like me, and so you trust and like me. Yes. You think the program is going to work? You think it's going to help you see the results that you're looking for? Yes. And so if you had your credit card out right now and it costs $10, you would essentially sign up and get started. Great. So now you basically said it's the money. You like me. You like the program. You think it's going to work. So now you can fully hone in and get creative. Because if I said, it's $10 and let's say it's not 10,000, and you didn't say that you would move forward, then it's like, well, okay, maybe it's something else. So we need to dive into why. Well, why is that the case? Why wouldn't you move forward if it's only $10? You don't think it's for $10?
Mhm. Yeah, his spouse one was a really intense example, but I didn't hate it, honestly. Like how he kind of phrased, okay, so if you got to go talk to your wife, totally get that. Do you, if your wife didn't exist, would you get your credit card out and pay me right now? And he just said, just go silent. And then they'll either say yes, and then it's like, okay, so then why does her existence keep you from moving forward with something you know is going to help you and that you're ready to move forward with on your own? Right. And then he kind of was pressing on that. And he said, if they say no, then we know there's something else there that we can dive into to get to the real objection, which is maybe price or fit or value or whatever.
One, yeah, one thing I want to add here too. One thing that I personally really liked that he did was that he used hypothetical like situations too. He kind of used like this storytelling, which kind of gets the the prospect out of their head as well. One thing for that spousal thing, he was like, okay, so hypothetically, let's just say that you're divorced right now and you don't have your wife. If you had your credit card out, would you pay for it? If is your wife holding you back? And that also plays back into that triple tie down and being able to like isolate the actual objection that they're giving you. But I like the way that he utilized hypothetical situations, because like, just hypothetically speaking, like, is this really the situation that you're in? And that will expose a lot of other things, or just expose like if they're just trying to get off the call with you as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's great. He also said you need to balance whenever you're responding to any type of objections. You need to respond with immediate masculine energy and then immediate empathy on the back end of that. He said you have to have both. So with his masculine energy, he's basically directly challenging and saying, if a prospect's like, I don't know, like I probably just need to like talk to my wife and think about it a little bit more and make sure she's all good with it. Does that make sense? And he'd be like, can I be honest with you, Mike? And then Mike would say like, well, yeah. It's like, I just want to be sure, like you seem like you're cool, but I just want to make sure I can talk. Can I speak freely here? I was like, well, yeah. And now you've got permission to come in with the masculine energy. And in his example, he basically said, that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me that you would go talk to your wife in this scenario. You're telling me this is your business. You're telling me this is your decision. You haven't mentioned her up to this point. So you didn't even think that she was an important decision maker in the process until right now. You're telling me that you have the money. You're telling me that you have the lead flow and the call flow. Like, why are you not? It doesn't make sense that you would make this decision right now. I think you're being a little bit of, and he actually said some curse words there. But basically like directly, like I'm going for the throat right here on that actually is a BS excuse. No, it doesn't make sense to me. Then he said underneath that, you immediately lead in with empathy as well. Like I understand being nervous about a decision like this. I understand that this might be a little bit scary, but I believe in you, like I've only known you for this full hour that we've been talking, but I believe in you. And I have this product that you've seen all my testimonials and all of my video recordings of people talking about how this has worked for them. It's going to work the same for you. Like you just have to believe in yourself. And that combo of masculine kind of attack or condescendence, he said, coupled with, I understand, I see you, we can do this. He said it works really well. And I've never tried it in that way.
Also talking about like dropping tone.
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest, it doesn't make sense to me. Like you're saying you do all these things and you're putting it off, and it's like honestly, I just think you're just like scared to go all in on yourself. But hey, I understand. Like change is different, and thinking that I'm not gonna be able to do it because you failed so many times on your own. So I understand. But again, freely thinking like. I don't think you need the permission. I think you just need yourself permission.
Mm-hmm.
So basically coming in hot and then riding out. Because what he said, you basically never want to burn somebody, but you want to heat the room up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And then really the last thing that I thought was an interesting perspective on him. I can't remember all the details of what he said. One of you guys might have it, but he talked about embedding pricing details somewhat early in the call passively so that you're kind of setting them up, and also talking about the pricing details in some of his testimonial videos so that some of those pricing objections might be pre-handled or at least managed.
Yeah. So basically what he said was referring to as like, it's just like I was just talking to Sarah last week, and her guy was like, she invested the 10 grand and then she tripled her investment in 3 weeks. I was like, but it's because we did this. And so it's not actually talking about the money. It's just in passing, dropping a price, then a return or goal achieved because they did this. Or you're talking about, let's say somebody, let's say somebody's trying to lose weight, right? And it's like, yeah, so when I was working with Mark, what we were able to do is, we basically got signed up. And his $1,500 investment, and turned around, he had lost 15 pounds in the first 3 weeks. And actually now he feels better. He's more active, actually got a promotion at work. all because we were able to just track the macros better, and he was able to be more efficient in everything he was doing, dad, husband, and job. Right. So it's just kind of like subtle throwing it in the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like that a lot too, because a lot of coaches are nervous to drop their price. So if some of that stuff is present at the very beginning of the call or in their testimonials, even like, how nervous were you to sign up with the price being where it's at? Because I charge a premium price, and then that type of thing gets handled in the videos people are watching up to the call. They already know what to expect. They know what's coming, and now there's way less of a chance, if they still got on that call, that there's going to be some sort of a price objection, as long as you demonstrate your worth.
Something else that he said I thought was important too. When somebody asked what the price is, he's like, just tell them. He's like, oh, it's custom to fit. He was like, just tell them, because right then and there, like, if that like is a balking problem for them, let's end the call now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if at any point during the sales process he has where people aren't ready to take action, like, hey, when you want to get started? Like 3 months. Call ins. I'm not continuing.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we can basically say, hey, we're going to get started now, and you're going to be traveling for the next 3 months, but we're still going to work together. Great. Otherwise, let's talk in 89 days.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not, you're just wasting time.
Yeah, they're not going to remember the details of your offer. They're not going to remember, you're not going to remember all the stuff about them if you don't have great notes. Like, it is just a waste of time, because we're going to have to recover all of this in 89 days anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. But overall, I thought it was a fantastic call. You can tell how and why the dude has sold as much as he has, why his closing percentage is where it's at. His kind of blunt approach on it, I think, was super refreshing, and you could tell that the community got a lot out of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, very valuable call.
Yes, we need to have more guests. If you suggest anybody that you think should be on one of our calls, maybe even a YouTube live, comment their name below. We would love to check out their Instagram and see what they specialize in, and be able to continue to add as much value as possible.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, guys. As a reminder, if you did get any value out of this particular one, it was a little bit different because we're recapping a training that someone else did in our community. But if you got any value, make sure you subscribe and check out some of the other videos and lives and resources we've been putting on the channel, because we've got a lot of them. Hope to see you guys next week.
See you then.